What's up, everyone? I'm Sam Aparicio, and welcome to another episode of the We're from the Valley podcast. Today, I am honored to have my guest, Nick Villarreal. Nick, thanks so much for joining, man. I appreciate you hanging out with us today.
Dude, thank you for having me, man. This is really cool. I really have to commend you on this. This is awesome. Not, so many people just talk about starting a podcast, but you're doing it.
Dude.
So, mad props, dog.
Absolutely. It's been a while since I had that idea for probably a year, but I didn't start executing till this past summer.
Well, that's good.
So.
It kind of takes a planning phase, because you start to kind of shoot holes in your idea. Like, okay, well, what if I run into this problem? How am I going to fix that? Or what am I going to,
Yeah.
So it's cool. You've got a nice little setup here. It's everything you need, and this is fun. It sounds like you're having fun. So.
Yeah, man, I'm having a blast. But dude, I'm so glad you decided to come. I'm honored that you would accept the invitation. You are arguably, in my honest opinion, one of the most talented musicians to come out of the RGB.
No. Do not say that.
And
I mean, thank you.
Out of the people that I know, right?
Oh, okay, cool.
I don't know all musicians in the RGB.
There
but out of the people that I've known, had the privilege of, knowing, I've known you for a long time.
Yeah, dude.
Went to school together.
Yep.
And I was a freshman when I met you, and you were a senior that year, right?
Yeah, right. What year did you graduate? 2010?
2010.
Okay, cool. So then, I was.
You were a senior when I was a freshman.
Neat.
And
we're old now,
dude. Dude, I always tell people
it's weird, isn't it?
Now that I'm 30, bro, I feel like life is just beginning, man.
Yeah. Oh, dude, absolutely.
Because
they say that. They say life starts when you're 30.
When I was 18, I left to college. I didn't know what I was doing. Right?
Dude, nobody does, man. It's so funny. We were just talking about that before the podcast. Nobody trains you for anything.
Nobody prepares you for that. There's no instruction manual.
No, there's not. There's not.
And so, even after graduating, dude, fast forward 4 years, even after graduating at 22, I'm like, okay, what now?
Exactly.
I have my degree, but what do I want to do? And it's
crazy.
Life is just beginning, bro. We're young.
It's so interesting how I view anybody younger than 30 as still kind of a kid.
Yeah. I agree. I think, in retrospect, I'm like, bro, at 22, no wonder I was still lost, because you still have so much to live and to learn, and just because you have a college degree doesn't mean anything.
You don't even have a fully developed brain yet.
Agree. That's why when people ask me, they're like, hey, should I take a gap year and travel? And I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do it. You don't have to go to college right after you finish high school. Go. You'll learn so much about yourself. 100%. Traveling on your own, get some work experience, get a job. You will learn an immense amount just by doing that. And so, I always advocate for that. There's people that, I always see non-traditional students. There's people that come back and finish their degree at 30, 40, and by all means,
there's no rush.
There's no rush. There's no specific timeline. You were talking earlier about naturally we tend to always compare ourselves.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, dude. I feel like now that notion's exacerbated by social media.
Yeah.
Because everyone's just look at me, and you're just looking at it oh shit, why am I not there?
100%.
So everyone's just kind of naturally just comparing themselves.
Yeah.
Organic, it's happening subconsciously. You might not even realize you're doing it, but you are. So at work, whenever I'm managing, the young kids that I manage, it's just a matter of reminding them to run their own race. Me too. I kind of always have to say dude, don't, I follow so many great bass players online, and I'm always just oh man, I need to practice. Why aren't I that good? And I'm just wait, dude. I'm decent.
Dude,
I'm okay.
It's relative, because from my perspective, you're bro, when I see you on stage, I'm this guy is just killing
but
it.
It's always, so...
But that's the case. There will always be somebody better than you. There will always be somebody more attractive, with more money. That's the case.
Yeah,
always.
It's just everybody has their strengths. Everybody has their weaknesses. That's what makes everybody's individuality important. And that's another thing that I've learned going into my 30s. Dude, this is such a valuable thing that everyone's so individual, especially as artists. You might not be reinventing the wheel with the art that you create, but it is 100% you. It's you, dude. There's not going to be another you in the history of the world. So that's something that me as an artist, as a person, I always try to... I got a fucking snowflake tattooed to kind of encapsulate that and like remind me like, dude, individuality is important, not just in myself but in others. Remember that everybody's different, and that's one of the greatest things about life, honestly. I think so. That's something that I learned as you get, I wish I had learned. I wish I had known that as a graduate, as a high school grad, like.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, dude, like the things that you learn through experience, like you can't learn like in school.
Of course.
You know what I mean? People can tell you, but it's until you've gone through it. But you make a really good point. Yeah. I love that. The individuality, but because also I don't think we focus enough on that.
No,
on like
we don't.
What do I bring to the table instead of, man, they're really good, or look how talented they are. Right. It's like, no, dude, like everyone brings something to the table.
Yeah,
you absolutely bring something that nobody else can bring, right? Yeah. Because nobody has lived your exact experiences.
Exactly.
Nobody has been through what you've been through. Nobody sees the world the way that you do, right? We all have like our own experience.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, we are so caught up in, man, look at that, bro. Dude. I want to be there. I think it's good, though, to have aspirations and ambition and to, like, have heroes, right? Role models. I absolutely think that's good. But like what you said, it starts to get dangerous when you start to compare.
Right.
Don't compare.
And then it's scary because that plays into a lot of consumerism and, like, marketing and advertising. And everyone starts to throw you stuff like, hey, you need this to be here. You need this. And then you're just like, oh shit, I need that.
When you're going through like the checkout line, you see the magazine.
Dude, isn't it weird, man?
That's why they do it.
I know.
That's why they do it.
It's psychology.
Yeah.
It's psychological.
100%.
So man. It's scary that, like, as humans, we have a large responsibility to focus on what we're putting out there. Yeah. Especially as artists, I always try to remind myself about that. Like, at the end of the day, I strive to do good, no matter what.
Yeah.
Right? Do good by myself, do good by others.
Good.
And, I'm always trying to just, check myself and just be like, hey, like, is what I'm doing good? Is it going to inspire others? Is it going to, like, am I being a positive influence for young kids who might be watching or who might be trying to take after me or whatever?
Good.
So
I love it, man. Speaking of doing good, you are now you're engaged. You just bought a house. You're doing a lot of stuff, man.
Dude, it's fun. It's growing up, dude. It's scary.
I bet. But are you not enjoying it? I mean, it's scary, but are you not enjoying the ride?
Oh, dude, it is so fun. It's so fun, man. And it's funny that, like, maybe 5 years ago, I was terrified of just thinking of buying a house and getting engaged, even though I've been with Marina for years. Like,
shout out to Marina, by the way.
Hi. But like, it's funny that we've been together for so long, and we're barely starting to live together because we bought a house.
Yeah.
And it's
congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. It's a dream, man. It's so fun because you sign, you pay, you get in an empty house. You're just like, shit,
You did one of those, 15-year, 30-year? Or
30 year.
30 year, okay.
Conventional loan. Okay. Yeah, dude. And it was interesting because, again, like, dude, you're a kid, all right? I mean, I'm 33. I'm not a kid yet.
I'm not a kid anymore. You're just starting to live.
I know, but it's just one of those things that you kind of learn. I'm barely experiencing all of this.
Yeah.
So it was just so cool to be like, okay, now what?
It's I think people who haven't bought a house yet don't realize all the crazy ins and outs of the process, right? I myself am not super well versed in that, but I know that it's a lengthy process,
right?
In terms of, like,
nobody's well versed in it.
Yeah,
not even realtors.
But also, it's like, this is a big investment.
Yeah,
like,
dude,
we're gonna be here for a long time,
course.
or at least we plan to,
dude.
Right? But that's so cool, man. I'm glad that you were able to find something. I had asked you for permission to talk to you about Marina and how you guys met.
Yeah.
I love to hear these stories about,
you
like,
romantic
how people
asshole.
Sue me. But yeah, dude, how did you guys meet, and how old were you when that happened?
So I was about 22, 23, I think. I was we had a lot of mutual friends. So okay. I had worked with the young girl, and she was friends with Marina.
Okay.
And we had always just, talked. We had known each other through social media. We added each other on Facebook or whatever. And one night I had seen her at a coffee shop, and I was like, wait, that's Marina. Holy shit, right? But of course, me being a 23-year-old idiot, I was too scared to like approach, of course, as everybody is, right? So I hit her up later, and I was like, yo, I think I just, so she was like, yes, I saw you. We should get coffee. And I was like,
she said that?
Yeah.
Nice,
well,
nice.
Like, we kind of both insinuated, we're like, hey, we should go grab coffee sometime. And
cool.
We're like, okay, cool. And it had been like another couple weeks before we actually met up, but then we met up, and dude, it was so fun. And then from then on, we saw each other every day. And then
so it was one of those things, like the first time you hung out, like instant chemistry, connection.
100%. Yeah,
love it, dude.
Absolutely. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So it was just so easy, right? And then years ago, we start to learn, more and more about each other, and it's just so interesting to see in hindsight, like everything that we've talked about when we were kids, literally how she wanted to get a master's degree in psychology, and I wanted to tour the world, and be a touring musician professionally. And as the years go by, dude, we did just that, and and it's so cool, dude. So it's very, very awesome.
I love it, man. I eat that shit up.
Yeah. That's so good. But so
it's just because, I think that in a world where there's so much shit going on, it's nice to hear about these things.
Oh,
right?
Of course.
Like the things that we live for, the things that we look forward to, like we need to have something to look forward to, man. You turn on the news and it's like, bro, like,
oh, dude, it's catastrophe.
Yeah, that's why it's recommended, and I'm sure you probably know more about this. Maybe you've talked about it with Marina, but like, because she's the one who has her master's in psychology. But in terms of like, it will depress you if you continue to look at the news, dude. Like, you need to be able to learn how to set those kinds of boundaries, man.
Absolutely, and not just that, but you have to take it with a grain of salt, and kind of, because the news, they want clicks, they want views, they want, so it's just, of course they're gonna reel you in with something that just sucks. Like, oh, this is terrible, let me click this and read more, right?
100%.
It's just like a moth to the flame. So you've just got to be careful. And of course, in school you're taught to think critically a little bit, but it takes a lot of experience to really, really, really think critically, so it doesn't really damage yourself.
No, you're absolutely right, because like what you're consuming definitely has a huge effect on your mood and how you end up, carrying yourself throughout the day.
And you might not even realize it, which is even more scary. Your brain is your brain's a sponge, and it's even when you're not really focused, it's absorbing and it's processing information and it's storing it. So it's just like, holy crap. It's really scary to think about the power of the brain, and then the effect that it has. Its job is to keep you alive and to keep you sane. And and it's just weird to experience as a human being.
That's a topic that like you could unpack so much.
Oh, of course.
The human brain is just incredible.
It's dumb.
But dude, talking about touring, and one of the things that I'd love to dive into for some of our listeners who don't know like who you are and your musical background, definitely want to talk a little bit about your experiences as a musician. So you have played with a number of bands, the most recent being Sons of Texas. Well, full time, right? I just remember, because you've toured after that with some bands, and we'll definitely talk a little bit about that too. But so dude, tell us a little bit about first and foremost when you started playing, and like what inspired you to pick up an instrument.
Oh man, that goes back to when I was 11. I was 11 years old. Mike, who is my younger brother, and Bob, who is my older brother. Shout
out to the brothers.
Yeah, shout out to Bobby the brothers, dude. We always did everything together. Always. We're only 2 years apart, so everything we did since we were kids, we did together. If we took an interest in something, we each appointed ourselves their little roles, right?
Dude,
got in Ninja Turtles, like, okay, I'm Donnie, you're Leo, you're Raph, right? Or whatever. Same thing with wrestling. Everything we were into, we were a thing, right?
I love it.
So then when we got into music, we were just like, okay, well, you're the bass player, you're the, we started assigning roles. That's and then Mike wanted to play drums, Bob wanted to play guitar, and they were sold on that. And I was and they were like, well, what does that leave me? Like, I'm not gonna sing, and they were like, play bass, you do, and I was like, what is even bass? Right? 11-year-old kid, like, what is this, right? Okay. And then so I was like, okay, I'm gonna play bass, right?
Okay.
Just, and then what's funny is that at the same time when we were just like these young preteen idiots, right? My parents were really trying to. At the time, I was in what, sixth grade. I wanted to play sports because everybody was playing sports. That's the thing that you do in Texas. You play football, right? And I was like 4'6", fucking 80 pounds.
I can relate, dude.
Idiot, right? My parents were like, "No, you're not gonna. Are you kidding me? No. I remember my dad saying, like, "Dude, you're not gonna get hit in the head repeatedly. No, not gonna happen. Okay. Sorry." But of course, we got everything that we wanted, right, as kids. But at the same time, I feel like once we took interest in music, my parents were just like, okay, that's it. I feel like that was their way from deterring us from wanting to play sports.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because if we get them something to do on their own or something to do together, they can have that. And I feel like that's what it was. That's what happened. So, dude, right? Like my dad and my mom went out. They bought us instruments, and they were like, "Look, you guys are gonna get good grades, you guys, because we're gonna buy you this stuff, okay. Right? And it's not cheap stuff, dude. Like." They bought us a really nice Yamaha drum kit for Mike. They bought us a really nice guitar, really nice bass, little amps. They put us in lessons.
That's amazing,
for a
dude.
couple, wow. They really were just like, all right. But what's cool is that I remember talking to my parents about it like a couple of years ago. They just wanted the opportunity to enrich our brains, our minds. Mm-hmm. They were just like, music's good. It's going to do good things for the mind. Let's do it, right? That was just excellent parenting. Shout out, Mom.
Absolutely. Shout out to Mom and Dad.
Right. So,
because that's, the fact that they knew, like, okay, this is a good, healthy outlet, and that they knew the benefits of that. They're like, long term, it'll be good. So go ahead.
And of course, there's always two sides, right? So it's just we got into heavy music, listening to Slipknot, Mudvayne, Limp Bizkit, Korn. This was in 2001 when the new metal phase was just prolific. Every band that was coming out, they were melding genres of like heavy metal and rap, and it was such an interesting time. And so of course we were turning on MTV2. We see Slipknot videos, we see Mudvayne videos, Limp Bizkit, Korn, and we're just like, this is awesome. But of course my parents are like, what is this? No, we didn't buy you instruments to play this bullshit. Like, are you fucking kidding me? So but that's what we loved. It's what we wanted to do. So there we are, listening to Slipknot records, listening to Mudvayne records.
So they didn't like it, but did they try to like prohibit or restrict you from playing that kind of music?
Of course they did. Of course, Okay. But they didn't physically, they didn't like say, hey, no, you're not, we were gonna do it. They knew we were gonna do it. Okay. Right. So it's just like, look, as long as you're not, and we were just like, no, we just love the music. We're not gonna freaking worship Satan, dude. Mm-hmm. Like we just love. I was so just drawn to the heavy drums and the heavy bass and just the rhythms of it, and it was great. I loved it. It became like the thing that me as a young preteen kid, I found solace in those records. I wasn't really having the best time at school all day, but I had something to look forward to, and that's, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna listen to this Korn record, I'm gonna listen to this Linkin Park record, I'm gonna sit with my bass guitar and just pretend that I'm playing these records. Dude. Right? So that's, of course, that goes back to my young preteen brain, like soaking up all this information, and it's so cool to think about. Like, I'm so glad that I had that as a kid. And it's just
mad props to your parents, because at the end of the day, it's like they maybe didn't like that kind of music that you were listening to, but at least they were, you ended up doing it, and they were supportive of you guys. They like knew in some way you were able to do that. Yeah. Thanks to them saying, all right, here's the instruments.
And like, dude, not a lot of parents, and I recognize now as an adult, not a lot of kids get that opportunity, man, especially in the Hispanic culture. Yeah. Especially in the Hispanic.
You're absolutely right.
Man, you're pushed to work. You're pushed to, like, no, you're going to make a good living. You're going to make a bunch of money. You're going to have to, right? Mm-hmm. That's right. Because, you don't really have a lot of parents who push their kids to do what they genuinely love to do, which, of course, as parents, even if you have a hard time, in life, you don't want your kids to go through that, right? So you want to do everything you can to make them avoid that path. Yeah. And a lot of times, people assume that the only way to get there is just to make an immense amount of money, right? Mm-hmm. Even though it's just that doesn't always yield happiness. That doesn't always yield fulfillment. Yeah. So it's hard. How do parents know that? You're just like, no. Like, if you have a bunch of money, you're not gonna have any problems. No.
Yeah.
No. That's more money, more problems.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, again, like, mad props to my parents for allowing us to do this, and I feel like that was my driving force as a young musician, as somebody who just signed a record deal and somebody who got in a van and went out to tour. I was like, this is an opportunity of a lifetime that I was given by the opportunities that I had as a young kid, right? From being able to pursue this avenue freely, that was something that I held on to just, I'm not gonna fuck around. I am all business. I am not gonna fucking do anything to hinder the band's growth. I am going to work so goddamn hard every day. I'm gonna take it so serious. I am not, that was ingrained in my mind. And on tour, and it's stressful because if you have that unrealistic strive for perfection, that's kind of a double-edged sword. Sure. It's great because you're striving to be excellent, but at the same time, it can be unrealistic because you're sort of inadvertently setting yourself up to fail because nothing's perfect, right?
Yeah.
So you really have to be careful with that, and that's something I learned later on in life. But there was a lot of stress. It was a lot of stress to there was a lot of things that you don't know, dude. You're an artist, but then when you sign a record deal, you become a business, whether you like it or not. Yeah. And that's something that me as a kid, like I was like, what is all, And we signed a record deal, signed a razor and tie. They hooked us up with a lawyer. They hooked us up with everything, and they were just like, okay, we're gonna set you up with an LLC. You're gonna get an LLC. This is your EIN number. This is your taxpayer number. And I'm like, what's hold on. And they're like, yeah, this is your EIN right here. You're gonna need this. And I'm just like, dude, I play an instrument with 4 strings. What the fuck are you talking about, right? Like, so it's insane to. Think of, and like, of course, not a lot of young kids know about that. They're just like, they just think you sign a record deal and, dude, like, you're made. The red carpet rolls out, velvet ropes par. Like, dude, no, man, the work begins there.
Yeah,
and absolutely. It's so scary. But of course, with bands, with art, it's really just a matter of, what do you want to do with this? Do you want this to pay your bills? Do you want this to be your livelihood? Or do you want this to just be fun,
Wow, dude, I love it. I mean, it can be scary, but I feel like you talk about that being something that you wanted to do, and then when it happens, you're like, holy shit, we're about to embark on this journey.
It's a can of worms, dude.
But, dude, tell us about what year was that Sons of Texas came together, and how long after that, like the beginning stages, like, because you knew the guys before, right? And some of them you played with before.
Of course, dude.
But so tell us a little bit about the early beginnings, the early stages of Sons of Texas, when you guys established that specific band, and how long you ended up jumping on that journey, getting signed and stuff like that.
Oh man, so they had already been prior established to me and Mike joining the band, right? And they weren't really feeling their drum and bass player too much, so they kind of talked amongst each other and decided, hey, maybe we should reach out to Mike and to play drums, right? So they reached out to Mike, and they were like, hey, what do you think about jamming with us? And Mike was like, okay, well, I would love to, but I would like it even more if Nick was involved, right? And they were like, okay, well, I guess that makes sense. We can kind of swap out our whole rhythm section, drums and bass, tie in a lot. That might work, right? So they were like, okay, cool. We'll bring in you and Nick, and we'll jam a little bit, see how it works. And again, it just, dude, it clicked. Everything was just great. And I had played with them before, right? John and Jess, we had played together. So we had known each other, right? But
Yeah.
this was a completely different venture. This was just a different style of music, different group of dudes, a different overall general vibe and mission, right? So we, of course, at the time, I was just working every day, right? And I was going back to school because I had already accepted the fact that music was not gonna happen, right? It was done, right? Like I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna be a writer. I'm gonna be a comedy writer. I wanted to be a comedy writer for a long time, and I was just like, dude, I'm gonna. This is gonna be my thing now. I did music. I learned a lot from that. Let me take all this general knowledge that I gained from all these experiences and apply it towards a different path. Right, but of course, here comes the old path back, and they were just like, "Do you want to join this band?" And at the time, I was just like, "You know what? Fuck it, let's do it. Let's do it." Right. So joined, borrowed a bass, borrowed an amp. We jammed, and dude, it popped off, man. It was so fun. We started taking gigs like in San Antonio and Austin, and it was fun. I was like, "Yo, this is so cool." And I was playing bass again, right? Like,
how long had it been since you had last played bass? Because you had played guitar for a really long time.
I played guitar for a long time, and it though it felt like it was me, it really wasn't, because at heart I was a bass player. As you know, I always wanted to be a bass player. But I'd played guitar in a prior band, and I was so stoked to play bass again that I took it and I ran with it. I started learning it and practicing and honing in all those skills. And then it didn't take long for Los Angeles, to catch wind of us, because we played South by Southwest, and everyone's there. The whole industry's there.
Yeah,
and dude,
sure.
Even though we were playing a tiny little dive bar, like with just to nobody, there was a lawyer there. His name was Eric German. He's the one that kind of discovered us, and he just grabbed our demo. He's like, "Dude, you guys are the next Pantera," and this and that, and we were just like, "Whatever, dude." Right. Dude, and he gets our demo.
For somebody to tell you that, dude,
we were just like, what? Bro. You hear it all the time at bars, like, "Oh my god, you guys will fall." I'm just like, "Yeah, dude, whatever, buy a CD," right? And so we give him a CD, and dude, he takes it to Los Angeles, and it spreads, right? Different labels start getting.
Was he involved in the music industry?
Yeah. He's an entertainment lawyer, Eric German.
Okay, entertainment lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's an entertainment lawyer.
Nice.
He's a big deal. He works with a lot of great artists.
Awesome.
So he knows everybody out there, man.
Cool.
So he just gave it to different people, and everyone's just like, "Yo, this is cool. This is great. Let's reach out to these kids," right? So they reach out to us. The first label that came to us was Razor and Tie. Right, and of course we take we're just like, "Yo, yeah, let's do it." But what's cool is that Eric German, as a lawyer, that was like a blessing to have a lawyer walk us through all this. Be like, "No, dude, you got to be careful with these contracts, because they're gonna make you sign something that isn't really cool," right? So we were just like, "Whatever, dude, we want to sign a record deal. Fuck off," right? But no, he really helped us navigate, how to get the best deal. So we ended up signing a deal that was pretty good.
Cool.
And they put us in the studio with Josh Wilbur, who worked with Lamb of God. Dude, are you kidding?
Yeah.
Like, that's that's insane. Like, how we're nobodies, dude. Like, what? I work at a bakery. Like, what? Like, so it was really cool. And mad love to Josh Wilbur, who took a young band who was nobody, and said, I'm going to work with these guys because I like the style. I think I could do a lot with this style. So, dude, that was the first thing in 2013. It was 2013.
Okay.
We signed the record deal October. That's when we started getting things put in motion, right? Our lawyer, again, helped us start, our company, our LLC. He kind of told us, like, hey, and I didn't even realize that was the phase in which we were becoming a business. And we started to have to talk about, okay, how are we going to split the money? How are we going to do this? We decided to split it evenly, 20% everybody, 5 members, equal members. That way there's no arguments. Yeah. There's no, that's the best way to approach it. We're 5 equal members. We all collaborate. We all contribute. We all work together to fucking kill it, right? So that was our establishment right there. And that's when it all started, 2013. And
Feels like forever ago.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah,
that's almost
absolutely.
10 years ago.
So then we didn't get into the studio until March 2014.
Okay.
So we were still working our day jobs, right? Still working, all of us, whatever. And then they put us into the studio March 2014, right? And that's when we went in to record "Baptized in the Rio Grande," our debut record on Razor and Tie, which we had some songs. Right, but not because we had EPs, you know, and so we had a lot of material for Josh Wilbur to kind of take in and be like, this is good, this is not, I think we could do better. So we were kind of writing in the studio with Josh too, and it was so cool.
Hell yeah,
it was so fun.
That's gotta be awesome.
We had never written with an outside source. We had never ever been produced. We had self-produced. We were writing everything in our bedrooms.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to get an outsider, a professional's perspective, and we were like, dude, this guy has a Grammy. We need to fucking just shut up and listen, right? So that was us, man, in the studio with Josh Wilbur, hashing out our first record, and it was so fun. We were there for about 4 weeks. Razor and Tie put us in a hotel in a in a 2-bedroom, 5 dudes, right? We took an air mattress, and we were like, we're gonna stay here for a month. 5 dudes. We have an air mattress, and they're like, whatever.
What city were you guys recording?
We were in Lakewood, California, but we stayed in Long Beach.
Okay.
All right. So, and this is like outside of Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
So we were there hashing out our first record. Man, we would work 5 days, almost 12 hours some days, and man, we were just writing songs, writing riffs, arranging songs, and picking the ones that would be on the record. And that's the process that a band goes through in the studio.
Yeah, the studio work for me is like not the best because there's like really slow times, or like just the people don't realize how lengthy that process is.
Oh, dude.
Right?
Oh, man.
And also, when that record button comes on,
oh, yeah,
you are nobody. It's
man.
like all the talent you had out the window. It's crazy,
it's insane,
dude.
It's insane. It's hard. It's hard, and that's something that I personally
forces you to get better.
To this day, I love to work as much as I can in the studio setting, so that I can hone in on that skill.
100%.
Hashing out, you know, what needs to be done, getting the perfect take.
But being able to listen.
Yeah, it's crazy, and a lot of it's writing. A lot of it's arranging songs. And I'm like, what if we do it this way? What if we do it that way? It takes a long time. It's kind of that kind of work where you start and then you're just like, what the fuck? It's 8 p.m. already. Holy shit! You know, like it's kind of that kind of work where you're just so in the zone. You're so in the zone with it, and it's fun. As much as it is work, and as much as it is taxing on the body and the mind, it's fun
for sure.
At the end of the day,
you're putting something that you've created, you know, and recording it, kind of like making it permanent, right?
Yeah. And we hadn't even toured yet, dude. Like, we hadn't even started touring, man. So that was a whole other venture, dude.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, we're in the process of creating the product, and now once you're done with that, it's like the label sells it. They put it out, they sell it, they market it, they advertise it, they get it out there, they put the band out there. It's like, all right, you guys do your thing, right? So it's just, man, that's just a whole other world.
So March 2014, you recorded the album, and then how long after that did you take off on tour?
A whole year, dude.
Oh, a year before you went
because
tour.
The way that it works with a record label is you're not the only band on the label, dude. So they're operating just like a business too, right? They've got to be smart with their releases, with their marketing, with their advertising, and the things that they're doing, right? As much as we felt like they were doing it on purpose, they weren't shelving us for a year on purpose. They had other bands that they had to release. They had to make decisions that, you know, made sense business-wise, right? So we sat at home for a year until the record came out in March 2015.
Okay.
So Baptized in the Rio Grande gets released 2015. They immediately try getting us on tour, right? So they hook us up with a manager. His name's Larry Mazer. Great dude. He did a lot for us early on, and we had gotten on the festival circuit There's a large like festival, like dude, there are so many rock fests out there, man. Like I'm pretty sure you've seen flyers for like Rocklahoma, Welcome to Rockville, Louder Than Life. Back then it was called Rock on the Range. There's so many of these festivals that are like stacked with artists, and they get about 100,000 people, dude, and it's insane. So we had gotten on that festival circuit as a baby band. We were playing like first on the smallest stage, right? And even that was like the perfect launching pad for a baby band to just get out there, fucking rip it, and just turn heads. That was our mission. That's what we were gonna do, right? So we did just that. And what's cool is that the label really helped us early on, man. They gave us money. They advanced us to buy a van. Nice. And they advanced us to create our company, create our LLC. They did everything for us, and I didn't even realize.
Plus the budget for recording and all that stuff. Of
course,
right?
all of that, right? So it's just all of that. They're using, their funds. Of course, the artist has to recoup all of that. Yeah. That's the way that it works. For people that don't understand the way that the music industry works, your label pays for the production of the record, for the production of the band. Of course, we had an A&R, and he kind of oversaw the production phase and made sure the artistic integrity was intact, and we were just staying on task and putting out good stuff, right? So the label, all this is on the label's dime. All of this, the label's paying for it, right? And then once the label has the finished product, they sell it. And they own it. It belongs to the label. Mm-hmm. The artist, us, we're just getting royalties. Mm-hmm. We're getting a percentage of royalty until they recoup that budget, in which case our royalty margin inflates just a bit. And then that's the way that it works. Yeah. To this day, we don't own those records. Yeah. They're still owned by a different company.
Because they're the ones who take the risk, right?
Of course, that's business, right? That's how it happens. That's how it works. So, and it's interesting that now, this was in 2013 when we signed that record deal. Now, artists have a lot of resources and technology to just do things themselves.
That's so true.
Record music at home, put it out, publish it yourself. You don't really need a label. You do. I'm not saying that you don't need a label. It really helps to have a label. It helps to have that backing. The way that it works is kind of like the label's your investor. The label's, it's gonna help you. It's gonna give you the capital. It's gonna give you everything that you need to kind of launch to get. So we had that benefit of being a signed band on a label early on and just getting launched. We were like that giant fuel tank on a shuttle. They were like that big red fuel tank on our shuttle. Like they really launched us. So we got on the festival circuit and we were out there just fucking slaying, dude. Like to thousands of people, and we were turning heads, and it felt so good to just go out there and play because finally, finally, dude,
after a year of waiting, to quit recording the music.
Oh my god. Finally, we were able to go out and fucking do what we like to do. Dude. And it was just like, oh man, we hit the ground running, dude. It was so fun.
When you guys released Baptized in the Rio Grande, I was like, holy shit.
It was cool, man. It was surreal, dude. And at that point in time, everything's just go, 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 go. You don't even realize. You're like, whoa, dude, I just put out a record on a fucking major label, Like, this shit's everywhere. And what's funny is that going into that, like, dude, it got popular in Japan.
Dude.
And we were like, what? Even the label were like, yeah, so... yeah, this is weird, guys. You might want to sit down for this, but...
Not something that you had predicted.
No, nobody did.
But if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Because the rock scene, the metal scene in Japan, dude, it's insane.
Yeah, for sure. So we were just like, dude, what? They're like, yeah, we're getting cases and cases and cases of these discs ordered from Japan.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah, so they were just like, the numbers are kind of concerning. And we were just like, well, that's cool. So, of course, our manager, Larry Mazer at the time, that dude's a bulldog. That dude's going to make shit happen.
He's like, we need to get you guys to Japan now.
Exactly. So he kind of twisted the label's arm. Like, yo, we need to get these fucking dudes out there. We need to get these dudes out there. We need to start establishing that fan base, that ground, that foundation of, like, it really introducing the band to these, fans in Japan. So they got us on Loud Park Music Festival, which is the largest rock fest in Tokyo. And it was oh my god, it was held in a giant arena, dude. Like, this arena was fucking massive, dude. I think it has its own zip code. Like, it's stupid. It's stupid, dude.
Legit.
Yeah. So oh man, that was a task.
Like, what was the challenge?
So, well, this was just there was a lot of prep going into it. Because you need visas.
Okay.
So there was a lot of stuff.
You're about like logistics and everything.
Dude, it was gnarly. But of course, we were so fortunate to have a record label help us navigate through all that, and a lawyer and a manager. Mm-hmm. So they were handling all this stuff. They were just like, all right, we need you guys to get passports. We need you 5 Hispanic dudes to get passports, you know? So we were just like, what the fuck is a passport? All right, let's go. Where do we get this?
You hadn't had a passport before?
No, dude, are you kidding me? Dude, no. I wouldn't have fucking left McAllen had I not been a touring musician, dude.
I love it. You got your passport. That's awesome. Good for you.
Got my passport. We all got our passports.
Legit.
They did all the paperwork needed to get our visas, to get everything done, the plane tickets, everything, man, all the logistical work. They did all that behind the scenes, and like now, I look back and I'm like, man, that was a bunch of shit, dude. That was a bunch of stuff that they had a lot of money to fork over.
No doubt.
So there we go, man. They give us the itinerary. They say, hey, you can only take this much. We're gonna rent you guys a backline. So just like send us a list of stuff that you need.
Nice.
Because we're not going to use our own. So we're not going to fly all of our stuff. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So they were just like, what do you guys need? So they rented us a backline. They rented us all the stuff that we needed.
You could select what gear you wanted?
Yeah, well, yeah. So we had to just, what's cool is that we were a band that was just so bare bones, man. Like, that's what was really appealing about Sons of Texas is we were a rock band.
Yeah.
What you see is what you get. You get 5 dudes, you get 3 amps, you get a drum kit. That's it. There's no crazy shit going on. There's no programming. There's no tracks. There's no there's nothing. It's just bare, raw.
Everything that you're putting out is you playing.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. So that's what was cool is that we were so easy. Like, dude, we just need 3 amps and a drum kit. Legit. That's it. So we just flew our guitars, right? And that's all we did. That's all. We flew our guitars. We flew a small suitcase, each of us, and 14-hour flight, dude.
Yeah. Oh, I know that flight very well, dude.
Not cool.
What year was that you guys went to for the first time to Japan?
2016.
2016.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, October 2016.
Okay.
Wild, man. It was insane. It was not.
What was the reception like when you first played there? How did you feel? What do you remember about the crowd?
It was scary, and of course, right there, you're in such a blank state. You just go.
Yeah.
Okay, what next? Let's go. You don't even realize where it's just another day. You don't realize you're in a fucking giant arena with like 30,000 people, right? Like, so, dude, we played at 10 in the morning. We were the first.
That's really early.
We were the first artist that they were gonna see, right? And because we were babies. We were a baby band. Yeah. We were nobodies still. This is just that was the slot. That was the slot for a baby band, right?
Sure.
So, dude, 10 in the morning, man. The floor is jam-packed, dude.
What?
And we were just like, what? And it's so different over there. The culture, the way that they receive artists. And what's funny is that somebody always introduces the artist over there.
They have like an MC.
Right, yeah, for sure. And it is dead quiet. It's silent.
Okay.
And they're listening because I don't know, man. There's just such a form of like respect for art over there. Not saying there isn't over here because there is, but over there it's just insane.
But even in the culture itself, very big on respect.
Of course.
So the MC is introducing you guys, and they're all listening intently.
Super duper quiet.
Okay.
Right? They're just like, and then they say our name. Sons of Texas. Fucking crowd just erupts, right? We're just like, holy fuck, I gotta walk out there now. Fuck. All right, so then, dude, we go, we do our thing. It was fucking awesome, and we were a very energetic band, so we're just going out there doing our thing, and we lit the place up, dude. Like,
I love it.
And it was so fun. It was so
How long was your
cool.
set? Do you remember?
Oh, like 25 minutes, 30 minutes maybe. Something super duper quick, man. And that's another thing that was really cool about Sons, dude. We can just be on and off.
Yeah.
Like, yo, dude, let's go. Like, rip this shit up and then we're out.
And you go over there and you fucking play Baptized in the Rio Grande
dude,
to people in Japan who have no idea probably about the 956, dude.
No, not at all. Not zero clue. So what was cool is that after the whole thing, after the set, they take us, back to our dressing room. They feed us. They have a really cool catering spread. We eat something. We relax for a little bit, and then they do a bunch of press.
Really?
with yeah, man. They put you at tables. They make you do like a panel, and they take fans, ask questions.
That's cool.
It was cool. We did a lot of press. We did a lot of interviews. We did radio. We did TV. A lot of it was a big thing. It was pretty cool, and that really helped us, establish more of a fan base, because if people didn't get to catch our set, they were still like, hey, this band played Loud Park, they opened, they did really well, you should check them out. That just blew our numbers up even more.
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
It was a good call on our team's behalf, like, just to get us out there and to do our thing. And I'm so glad that it went well, and it was super duper fun as tiring and stressful as it was to do all the logistics, to sit on a plane for 14 hours, to
sucks. 100% sucks,
dude. Like, it was just crazy, and the time difference is just, oh god,
dude. One of my all-time favorite stories. I don't know if you knew about this, but I posted it back then in 2016. Okay, so you knew I was living in Korea, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of. What were you doing out there?
I was teaching English.
Oh, that's right.
I graduated. I finished my bachelor's in May of 2014.
That's right, dude.
And then December of that same year, I flew out to teach. I was teaching. I signed a contract to teach for a year in Seoul, South Korea. Loved it. Did like a Skype interview with the school and stuff like that.
That was
and
awesome.
I wasn't ready to put down roots yet. I wasn't ready to like get like a like a settled down job.
Like you said, you need to go out and you need to experience different.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, let me branch out. Let me do some traveling. But how can I do that and make money?
Right. Let me go to the other side of the world,
dude.
Literally.
Something about Korea really drew me in, man. I had thought about Europe. Like, I had looked into the Netherlands. I had looked into Spain. But the best benefits were offered in Korea. I was like, I gotta do that. Like, housing was paid for. All I had to pay for was my utilities. And so, like, it was really nice to be able to kind of like, they took care of everything. I just had to fly in there. They bought my ticket and everything, and so it was awesome. So I signed a year contract. I ended up staying for about a year and a half. Fast forward to spring of 2016. I have a buddy that I met when I was at school at Texas State from Japan. And he was like, hey, dude, he actually stayed with my family for maybe about a month or so. He's like, dude, thanks so much for taking care of me. He's like, my family and I will take care of you once you get a chance to come to Japan.
Wow.
I was like, okay, cool. I'll hold you to that. Before I ended up moving back from Korea, I'm like, hey, bro, I'm ready to come and see you. And he's like, okay, badass. I'll pick you up at Narita Airport. How long are you going to stay? I'll be like, dude, I'll stay for about a week. He's like, okay, awesome. He's like, I can't stay with you the whole time. I can stay for you a couple of days, because he was working outside of... he was working in a city like far from where his family was living. He's like, but I can come with you for a couple of days, and then you're more than welcome to stay with my family. I was like, badass. Wow. Let's do it. And dude, amazing family. Like, the nicest family I've ever stayed with. I got to experience like the Japanese experience.
Yeah, man.
They would cook me all the Japanese food, and they just took care of me, and just so hospitable, dude.
Oh, of course.
I was drinking sake with his dad. It was so cool. So okay, he's like, hey bro, let's go check out the sites in Tokyo. Okay, badass, let's go. So we go to Tokyo. We see all the cool stuff: Shinjuku, Harajuku. We're in Asakusa. Like, we're just checking everything. And he's like, hey, you want to go check out Tower Records? Badass, let's go. We're walking in Tower Records. Do you know the story?
Yeah. I mean, actually, maybe not.
I posted about it.
You posted about it
back then. Yes, on that day.
I was probably in a van somewhere reading it. Shit.
We're walking in Tower Records, just looking at the CDs, and I'm checking out the K-pop shit. I'm a big fan of Korean music, and so I'm looking at like Girls' Generation, and so like I'm walking around. And I'm gonna check out the rock section. I'm walking in the rock section. I look up, and sure enough, a fucking Sons of Texas poster right then and there in front of me.
Dude.
In Tokyo, Japan.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah,
like,
dude.
it's not something I expected. I didn't
Right.
know at the time that you guys were doing so well in
Oh,
Japan.
wow.
I didn't know that type of reception. Granted, you and I hadn't talked in a long time because I was in San Marcos for
Yep.
4 years
Oh,
after
yeah.
that, after graduating
Yep.
high school. And I was just like, what?
Yeah,
It was
man.
such a surreal moment, Nick. I couldn't believe it. Something within me just was gleaming, beaming with pride for
Dude,
you
that's
guys.
so cool, man.
I was like, bro, like,
Yeah.
I'm not taking credit for all the work they've done, but the fact that these guys are from my hometown
Oh, that's
and are
awesome.
fucking on a poster in Tower Records
Yeah,
in
dude.
Japan. And the best part was, I didn't expect that.
Yeah,
right?
right.
Like, it was one of those
Complete
things that I
total
had
surprise.
no
Yeah.
clue what you guys were up to. And I loved it. And that's why I posted about it. I
That's
posted a picture on
awesome.
Facebook, and I
That's
remember
awesome.
thinking, to see this, where, you know, I went to school with Nick, got to see you play with Lay in Ruins at
Yeah.
the VFW,
Yeah.
and now to see you guys promoted internationally for me was just something so surreal.
It was
I was so
wild.
happy, man. I
Thank
was
you.
so happy for
Oh,
you
thank you.
guys.
Yeah.
And I told my friend, his name's Chico. Shout out to my buddy Chico. And I was like, dude, these guys, I went to school with these guys. Like,
That's so crazy.
it was just.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
I know,
Yeah, it's
dude.
just, it was insane, man. And what's cool is that Razor and Tie licensed Baptized in the Rio Grande out to Sony Music Japan,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So that's the way it worked. It's like, you know, a record label owns a product, they license it out to someone else internationally to do their thing and you know, put it out. And what's cool is that they released a Japanese version of Baptized in the Rio Grande. Not to say it's translated, no, it's still the same record, but they have a different, you know, kind of like I forget what it's called, but it's like a different binding with more information about the band.
Really?
And Sony Music Japan cut us a check to do some bonus tracks for the Japanese version. So that was awesome, man.
That's legit.
And that was
how many bonus tracks?
so
were
it
what?
was four acoustic bonus tracks. So they were just like, can you guys get in a studio somewhere at home? So we went with Sound of Rain Studios in Edinburgh.
Okay.
Charlie Vela.
That's Charlie,
helped us,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we hashed out 4 tracks and Ozzy Osbourne cover. So we did that for the Japanese version. So if you look like on eBay or something, you could find the Japanese version of Baptized
That's
in the Rio
amazing.
Grande with
I
those
had no
bonus
clue
tracks.
about this.
That's what's cool about how they do it over there is
Yeah.
when they license a product, they want it to be different. They want it to be
That's so
exclusive.
cool, man.
For you know, so that's
love
why
that.
they were just like, hey, let's.
Do you
let's
have a
cut
copy of it?
I don't, dude. I don't. I need to find it. I'm gonna hit up eBay and be like, yo, let me buy that one
Yeah.
record.
But I mean, I would do it. Yeah. I would just to.
I need to find it. I need to find it somewhere, man. I feel like an idiot.
So
now
if
that
I go on
didn't really-
eBay, I can probably find it.
yeah, just
Okay.
Google
Dude, that's
Sons
so
of Texas.
cool. I had no clue
Yeah,
that they did that.
yeah, it was pretty neat, man. So once we went out there, the whole team at Sony Music Japan just really took care of us.
Wow, dude.
And we got to go back for an actual headlining tour in Japan.
Oh,
which
wow.
was awesome. It was just like 3 dates.
Okay.
We were there for a week.
Any
but-
bands that like we might know, or they were all like?
yeah, so we got Her Name in Blood. There's like a really popular Japanese metal band called Her Name in Blood, and they were able to open for us
So
at one
cool,
of the
dude.
shows in Tokyo. So that was cool, man. That was fun.
That's so legit.
So it was just, and then we got to tour Europe also. That was insane.
Dude, yes. Tell us about the Europe tour. I remember, I think you had just come back from your Europe tour, if I'm not mistaken. I went to go see you guys at Come and Take It Live in Austin.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that? Had you just come back from your Europe
Who
tour?
were we on tour with? Do you remember? Was it All That Remains? Alter Bridge? No, it wasn't Alter Bridge.
I think it was All That Remains. Yes. I think
Man, I forget.
this was 2018.
Who were we? Were we headlining? Or-
I can't even remember.
I don't remember
dude.
either.
I
Shit.
just remember you guys had come back from touring,
Right.
And I remember because I I brought you guys like a case of like Gatorades or something like that and some snacks. 'Cause I was like,
thank
I'm
you,
sure they're
man.
probably like tired just being on the road or something.
Yeah, dude. Thank you
Um,
for that.
I think Jess was sick too, so I brought him like emergencies, some shit like that.
Oh yeah, that was a touring nightmare. Is feeling like shit on the road. Imagine like getting the flu or
Yeah.
getting like a cold and you can't stay in bed. You
Yeah,
have to sit
you're
in the
not.
van.
You can't be in your room just kind of like watching
No,
TV,
you've
right?
You've got to get rest where you can, man.
So then, okay, when did you guys take off to Europe? What, like, you did that more than once?
It was 2016. Yeah.
Okay.
So we just got back from Japan,
Okay.
and then a month later we were gonna.
A month
Yeah,
later?
Yeah. It was.
Holy
yeah.
crap,
It was
dude.
pretty quick.
Now I understand where you're saying everything was go.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But what was cool is that the whole Japan thing, the whole like playing Loud Park, that was kind of like a litmus test. That was just like a trial run for an actual overseas tour, because we were just there for like a weekend. They flew us in, we played the show, flew us out back home. The tour, the European tour was going to be a lot longer. It was going to be 5 weeks with Soil, a band called Soil. Mm-hmm. So we were just like, all right, this is going to be a little bit different. Even though the whole process, all the logistics of flying and renting gear, is going to be very similar, it's going to be different in the sense that we're going to stay there for way longer. So we need to prep for that, right? So, oh man, it was wild. We went through the whole backline thing again. We were just like, okay, what gear do you need? Because you're playing rental gear, you can't fly your shit, right? So we were just like, all right, so... And then they hired a driver. They hired a Sprinter van. I mean, they rented a Sprinter van, hired us a driver, because we're not going to fucking drive ourselves over there. Yeah. Right? So,
GPS.
dude, we had, and that was so stressful, dude, because I'm a very, like, naturally anxious person. And to go into, like, uncharted territory, that's stressful,
an
man.
Environment you're not familiar with.
For anybody.
Yeah, without a doubt.
What was cool is that, dude, touring was really the exposure therapy for that. It was just like, tough shit, dog. Like, you want to do it, you've got to. There's no way around it. The only way around it is through it. So, and which is the case for a lot of things in life, right? So
for sure.
I'm very, very fortunate to just have been thrown into the deep end like that, because I wouldn't be the person I am today, without that trial error. Without that trial run.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, like, you really just have to do your best and get through the day, and you have to do that like every day, and of course, exactly like you said, at the end of the day, you want to lie your head and like be assured that you did the very best work that you did, right? So a lot of that was my mindset going into touring, is just, dude, just do what you got to do, do your best to get through the day. So even though we were going through uncharted territory, and it was just like, what do we do? Where are we going? Like, what are these shows gonna be like? Is our gear gonna work? Am I gonna have to use this bullshit rental amp for? We weren't used to that, so we kind of had to get acclimated to a new environment, to new gear, and that was a really cool experience, because it really tested our abilities as musicians, as performers. Sure. And what was cool is that I tell a lot of our friends, like, dude, if we didn't grow up playing on the floor at the fucking VFW, we wouldn't have been able to do that, dude. Like, man, we were playing with no monitor, no PA, just raw amps, nothing.
And I'll be honest with you, dude, the acoustics in there,
dude, it was bad. It was terrible. So early on, we had that ability to kind of swing with the weight on. That was just training us. And then once we were given all the resources and equipment that we needed, dude, we were swinging for the fences, man. We were fucking knocking them out of the park, dude.
I love it, dude.
So that's something that I realized is, man, we were so lucky to have, as shitty as it might have been as kids playing in a VFW hall on the floor. That really helped us get prepared for anything. We could do anything. We could do that. We could do anything.
That's amazing.
Right? So, dude, like, give us any amp, give us any drum kit. We're gonna do it, right? So that was cool. Yeah. We had that skill set. So I feel like that really, having that within us, that really helped us flourish on the road.
For sure.
We could do anything. So that was awesome.
5 weeks in Europe, and then once you finish, how do you feel, and what's the transition like when you come back home?
Dude, that's a good question, because it's different for everybody. It's different for everybody. At the time, I didn't have a family. The rest of the guys had families, so they hadn't seen their kids, and so it was much harder for them, as it can be hard for anybody in a different way. For me, it was such a bummer to come home, and then, like, as much as I wanted to rest and just decompress and just sit in my room in a familiar area, not a hotel in a random city, not have to worry about, oh my god, like, van call is in 15 minutes and I'm still fucking sleepy, like, stuff like that. It was just a lot of, when I get home from tour, myself, I just wanted to rest. I wanted to relax. I wanted to watch a ball game. That's kind of just where I'm happy, is just chilling, quiet, peace and quiet, watching a ball game, dude.
Okay. Baseball.
Or anything. basketball, football, baseball.
So okay, it can be.
I love sports, right? So
good. Okay.
That was my thing, and of course the guys had families that they were so happy to be back with, but at the time I started like once I get home from tour, I start getting antsy. I started like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? I gotta do something. I need to feel productive. I can't just be sitting here all day. And so it's different for everybody. I know for a lot of musicians, for a lot of artists, once they get home from tour, it's hard to get acclimated to that of not having to be somewhere.
Yeah. I can imagine. Like you said, you're constantly go, and then you come home, and like the change of pace must be difficult at first, right?
Yeah.
To kind of readjust.
You know, of course, you need a couple days to just relax and rest your brain, to be like, I don't have to be anywhere. I don't, just relax in that sense. Like there's no pressure. And then after a couple of days, it's like, yo, the bills are piling up. What are we gonna do, right? True. So it's different for everybody. Wow, and business-wise, fortunately, Sons, when we toured when we toured in the States, we would do fairly decent. Fortunately enough, we would sell a lot of merch, and that would keep us afloat when we got home. Of course, it's hard because the goal was. Sons was going to be our livelihood, right? So in 2018, Razor and Tie, at this time, 2018, Razor and Tie, we had just released our album 2, Forged by Fortitude. Okay. And then in 2018, Razor and Tie gets bought out by another company called Concord Music Group. And they release all their artists. They're just like, no, we're not gonna, that's it, that's done. So technically, we were dropped from our label in 2018 February. We had just gotten back from our tour in Japan. Okay. And then they broke the news, hey, we're getting acquired by Concord Music Group. And what that looks like, it's just basically a larger company acquiring the masters of a smaller label to have as their property to sell and generate mechanical royalties and revenue. And so we weren't on a label anymore, technically. We were just like, shit, right? Okay, so all contracts were just null and void. We were like, shit, right? So
now you're an independent band.
We were just like, now what? Like, holy fuck, that sucks. We're not going to have the support of a label anymore. Yeah. So we were just like, oh my God, what are we going to do, right? It was kind of a weird, like, what now? So our manager was kind of explaining us the options. We can look for another label. We can relax for a couple months, and because it had been 3 years non-stop, just living in a van out of a suitcase everywhere. Just go, right? The guys hadn't seen their kid. They haven't really spent a lot of time as much as we were touring. There was always like maybe 4 or 5 weeks at home, or 3, 4 weeks, and then we'd go back out. So it was always just come home, go back out, come home, go back out. But in 2018, we got dropped, and we were just like, okay, let's relax for a little bit, dude. It's been 3 years. Let's chill, right? Let's take a couple months to just relax and see what comes of it. Let's not have to worry about what we're gonna do for a while. And we were like, okay, cool, that's fine. The guys have kids. Let's relax for a bit. I started getting bored as fuck. I was just like, what am I going to do? So tried finding a job, right? And I was just like, maybe I could just work here and there. I'm not going to find anything serious because I might just go back out. We don't know what's going to happen. It can all change, dude. Everything, that's what's so scary. It all changes with an email. Everything, dude. We got the email that Razor and Tie was acquired. We got the email from our manager. It's like, done. We were just like, shit. That's just crazy. Like that. We had just gotten back from Japan. We were just like, wow. So that was kind of just like training on how ruthless it can be. Yeah, at the drop of a hat, things will change. For sure. So I think that's also the nature of like having a job in the music industry, no? It's like, this isn't, you knew this wasn't something that could necessarily be sustainable forever. It's a risk. It's a possibility, but there's a lot of risk. Yeah, man. Yeah, as much as things can be great, it can all change. So I was just like, okay, let me try to find a job that isn't necessarily going to be too serious, because I might just fucking leave again, right? We don't know if we're going to get an email from another label and be like, yo, we'll pick you guys up. Yeah, fuck yeah. That's kind of what we were expecting. Sure. But, we weren't really sure. Okay. Again, that was the uncertainty phase. scary as it was in the beginning, this was just like another. It was just like, wow, what's going to happen?
One day at a
now?
time, really.
And you just have to stay positive, right? And just seeing like, well, we've done all of this. Let's see what all of this can help, for the future. So what's funny is that Alex Velasco had just started Fork to Fit Kitchen.
Yeah.
And
shout out to Alex.
Shout out to Alex, dude. And he had known that I had prior experience in the service industry, working at the bakery.
Yeah.
And he would
You
always...
were there for a really long time.
8 years.
That's
I was working at Bread
crazy,
Smith in
dude.
McAllen for 8 years. And, dude, that taught me a lot.
I remember you telling me this one time. You were like,
So
the
much.
amount of things that you learned about,
Yes.
like, even prep and just even, like, running the store and stuff like that.
The-
8 years is a long time.
Of course.
Dude.
And all of that, working at the bakery as a young 20, or early 20s, and then everything that I experienced on the road really prepared me, as much as I didn't even realize it, for the next chapter, which was management, which was business. So of course I agreed to work at Fork to Fit Kitchen. Oh shit, you got it. Somebody's here.
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
You're good. So in 2018, it was like July. So we got dropped in February.
Okay.
And it was July that I agreed to. I had my first day at Fork to Fit Kitchen. Right. I went in, didn't know what to expect. I just figured I'm just gonna do whatever they need me to do. I'm used to just going into work every day and putting on an apron. Now what?
Mm-hmm.
So what I was saying is that everything that I learned at working at the bakery in my early 20s, it really prepped for what I was gonna do at Fork to Fit. I was like, let me take all that knowledge, everything that I'm used to, as far as how I would approach customers. And what's cool is that working that service job, dude. Oh my god, like service jobs can sharpen so many skills.
For sure.
Not a lot of young kids realize that, because it seems like such like grunt work.
Yeah.
You're putting on an apron and you're, like, what is that? No, dude, it is a fantastic opportunity to sharpen skills, to work on your communication skills, to build character, to have really hard days, to be on your feet, to can really, really learn how much you can take, right? To understand what it's like to serve others, put yourself below someone and be like, put someone else, my job is to serve you. What do you need? Let me help you have the best experience here. And not just that, but being able to obey orders, being able to do what you're told, being able to be respectful, say yes sir, no sir, follow instructions, do everything right, don't cut corners. All that can really, really prepare you. You can't lead until you learn how to be a follower.
Ooh, that's so good. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All of that, I was just like, yo, I've got a fairly decent skill set to manage, to lead. Right? So, of course, that's something that I didn't expect. I was just like, let me just work here for fun, to just, generate income so I'm not bored. And it was cool because Alex, it was early phases, man. Alex is, I explain him as somebody who always has his foot on the gas. Always. Go. No stopping. He's flooring it. We'll figure it out later. Doesn't know where he's going, but he's going to figure that out, right? So, dude, he built a really beautiful store, had a really awesome concept, had a really, really beautiful design for his products, had a, so I was kind of I didn't want the responsibility of like a manager. I didn't want to like impose, because I was just like, dude, I don't want to get in too deep with them and then just leave again.
Yeah.
Because I might sign a record deal again and might just head back out. But dude, the timing was perfect, and I really had so much fun working. I've always been like a workaholic. I get that from my dad, and I love to work. I love the feeling of fulfillment of doing a good job, and then coming home and just being proud of the work that you did. Right, feeling like you're contributing to society, interacting with complete strangers and making a difference in their day. I feel like, dude, that's such important work. As much as you may not realize it, I tell all my staff members, dude, you have an opportunity to interact with strangers. You don't know what the fuck they're going through, but your tiny, friendly interaction, your kindness and service to them can change their whole day.
Yeah.
It's such
100%.
It's so important.
That quality that you have is invaluable and in short supply, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, not enough people carry that awareness.
Course. It's hard to have it, man.
Yeah. Because it's absolutely right. You're like, it's hard, man, when you realize, how much can I take? Because working in customer service or working in general isn't always, you're not always appreciated. It can be a thankless job. You might do an amazing job, and somebody who you're helping is just going to be like, cool, without even showing any type of gratitude.
Of course.
Right? But you're doing it because it's your job, right? Not to get the thank you. If they give you the thank you, awesome. Have a great day.
Of course.
Either way, you're gonna say have a great day, right?
Course.
Like, you're there too. But that is a trait, a quality that is extremely invaluable and in short supply. Man.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. I agree. And now that I'm head of the company, kind of, sort of, a little bit. I'm chief operating officer.
COO.
I'm right under Alex Velasco as CEO, and his business partner, Jose Guerra. They're partners in the business, and they've trusted me, since 2018, just, again, like, me working my way towards that is really helping them, giving them advisement on what I know, and them, their vision, working with me and everything that I know, my experience. They put their trust in me to lead, so to lead the team that's going to interact with their customers. So it's so cool, right? I was like, yo, this is awesome, right? So, and it perfect timing because Sons was kind of just in a phase of uncertainty. We still really wanted to do it, right? And in the midst of all this, the guys were starting to get, all right, we're done. What are we going to do? Let's fucking go. Let's go back out. Let's fucking go. Like, we're ready, relaxing. We've been home enough. What are we going to do? So that's why it's like, oh man. So I was just kind of already starting to get into the whole Fork to Fifth thing. And then we were just like, well, let's try to do this again. Right. So then we try to be a DIY band. A DIY means do it yourself, independent, no label, just doing everything ourselves, so we had all the contacts, all the resources to kind of already navigate our own way, to book our own tours. I had a lot of contacts from club promoters and people, so I was like, maybe we can just kind of book our own tours. So we tried that, and it worked, dude. It took a lot of fucking work, but we were kind of sort of sustaining ourselves a little bit. We'd go on little tours, little weekend runs. Of course, we would do well in our state of Texas. So we would just try to, book little Texas dates here. We would do San Antonio and Austin in a weekend, and just try to get, our feet, try to get back into it. Yeah. Without the help of a label, just us doing it ourselves, bankrolling it ourselves, recording music ourselves. Dude, it's so hard for a DIY band because there's no way around it. It takes a lot of work.
Yeah, you don't have that support in terms of resources anymore and stuff like that. So it's you investing your time and your money and your energy.
And then after we got dropped from Razor, we cut ties with our manager Larry because it was just everything was just weird. Those 3 years, it was just very hard for a band of 5 dudes to work with others. Again, group work is really hard. It's so hard, especially artists, because artists are very emotional people. So you're always gonna have those like that skepticism and your ability to trust others is always, you have a walls around you. You don't so you just want to protect your artistic your artistic integrity as much as possible, and that can be hard when you're trying to take the advice of somebody who's kind of trying to help you. You might not always see it as we're trying to help you, right? So, dude, that it was that kind of relationship on and off with us and our label and management, us trying to do what we wanted to do, but then always having outsiders' perspective, being like, no, you need to be doing this. And we're just like, well, this is So it was just a lot of butting heads, and relationships kind of dwindled, and which is probably why we got dropped, really, but. We tried to sustain ourselves for a while, and then it was just, dude, it was so difficult. And at the same time, I was kind of, sort of more interested in doing Fork, working as a manager, because I kind of felt like as much as I wanted to do Sons of Texas, I feel like I didn't have the freedom that I wanted. I wanted to put all of my experience, all of my knowledge into it, but it wasn't there.
Okay.
You know, I was only 20%. I could only do so much, you know? So I was just like, all right, I'm just going to focus on Fork now. So that's what was cool. And luckily, I'm so glad I had that, dude. I'm so glad I had that. And like, I'm so fortunate for the opportunity because I really, really enjoy my job. And I really enjoy working with young kids. Not young kids. They're in their 20s.
Yeah.
All my staff members are
and young in terms of, they are very impressionable.
Yes. It's so funny, dude. It's so funny to work with these young kids because that's kind of the manager that I try to be. I try to think of them as my 20-year-old idiot self, and I try to get through them the best that I can. And again, like I prioritize customer service because I feel like that's end all be all in business. That's very overlooked.
100%.
A lot of times in business, it's just a spreadsheets, numbers on a spreadsheet, margins, this and that. What are we going to do? It's data. And like, yeah, that's important. All that stuff's important. But you really need to make sure that everyone is enjoying their experiences.
The people that are on the front lines have to know customer service.
Of course, dude. It's so important. And that's the biggest challenge of my job, and it's so awesome. It's so fulfilling that I get to I strive to be a positive influence for my team and teach them everything. Because I'm 33 years old. I'm so old. I'm not old, but I'm much older than they are.
Yeah.
And I have to.
You've gotten a chance to live,
and I understand the phase in their life that they're in, and I have to, as a leader, respect that. Let them be kids. Let them be themselves, right? But at the same time, explain to them the importance of character, of following orders, following recipes, doing everything the best that they can, holding the integrity of your work, because it's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I feel like that has really helped, and I'm glad to see the company succeeding. All of that. I feel like we're a really good team of Alex just foot on the gas all the time. And then he has me in the passenger seat just trying to navigate, trying to hold it, it's cool. It's fun. It's so fun. And
good, man. I'm so glad to hear that, though, that you're having fun doing it.
It's as crazy as it can be. I have pushed myself to the brink of burnout. I have been burnt out, but it's with age, you don't get thick skin without getting burnt,
Yeah.
You learn to manage that, and that's important, man. As a manager, you need to manage yourself too.
Yep.
You need to understand, like,
take care of yourself, because nobody's going to do it for you, man.
Exactly, man. So that's kind of the balance that I'm trying to learn right now, and I still want to do music.
Okay.
And then last year in December, that's when I decided I'm going to part ways with Sons.
Okay.
We did our final tour in September 2021, I think, last year. I don't remember. And after that, it was just, man, I was done. It was stress all the time. It was just a lot of internal issues within the band, as it happens, dude. But with business, with group work, it's hard.
Yeah.
Because it's a marriage, is what it is. You really need to work together. Again, group work is super duper 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 hard. Mm-hmm. You need to have those character traits where you're understanding, you're empathic of others, and your communication skills, your ability to convey messages in a way that's going to be well received. That's hard. Humans aren't. We're not. We don't know those things.
Yeah.
Right. So, dude, I just decided that it's probably best to just not do it. I was done. I was like, man, this isn't even fun anymore, dude. Yeah. This is just so much stress.
Like, you weren't done with music. You were just your chapter with Sons of Texas specifically.
Yeah, it was just a weird phase. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to cut the cord. I'm going to announce my resignation from the band. I'm going to split, and they can do whatever they want, right? Mind you, the company is still intact, right? And that's something that I had to discuss with the band before leaving. Like, our stuff is still out there. It's still generating mechanical royalties. That income is still being funneled into our account, and all of that's going to have to be managed in perpetuity, forever. Unless we take our music down and we just done. But no, dude, I want to have music out there. I want for people to be able to listen to Sons of Texas still, and so that's something, all of us came to an agreement that, all right, with the band, I mean, the company's intact the way that it is. Everything's out there generating mechanical royalties. Every quarter, we just, split everything in there. So that's where we're at right now.
Cool.
And I kind of done with Sons. I've kind of just put it in my review.
Okay.
Like, that's it. As much fun as it was, I feel like I'm ready for something else. And what's cool is that this year I bought a 5-string bass.
Okay.
For the first time ever.
So you've never had played the 5-string before?
No,
okay.
I've always been a 4. I've always been adamant no 4 strings. So I'm talking to my 24-year-old self. 5 strings are on the horizon. I love it, dude.
That's awesome.
It's so fun. It's something else, and I did it so that I can stay interested in music. It's just, hey, buy yourself a new instrument that's gonna keep you intrigued.
Yeah,
it's gonna make you keep wanting to learn, because I started to feel a detachment, from it. So what's cool is that, dude, I jam every day. Yeah. And I bought a 7-string guitar also.
For real? Dude,
so, like,
you're still playing guitar too then?
Yeah,
okay.
man. This just happened this year.
Legit.
And I was just like, dude, no, I can't let music go, dude. So
it's been a part of your life pretty much.
Of course. And as much as now,
your whole life.
Now that I have a professional career and stuff in management, fortunately, I get to do I get to do music as kind of like a side hustle and just an outlet to keep me sane. And dude, honestly, I'm so happy that I've gotten here, and I have things, I have my career, I'm doing good work and I enjoy it, and then I have music that I use as an out. So that's what I do.
I'm so glad that you're still doing it, man. I think that's great because, like I told you, you're one of the most impressive musicians that I know, and I love to watch your videos.
Thank you.
It's fun to see you play, but
you.
You know why? Because you love it. Because it's something that you cherish. It's something that you can tell. Like when people do things that light the fire in you, like you can always tell.
Dude, thank you, man. That's huge.
And so now that you've closed the chapter with Sons of Texas, what can you say looking back are some of the best memories that you'll take with you?
Oof. You know what? I feel like the most memorable things are the challenges.
Yeah. The struggles and the obstacles along the way.
Yeah.
Because they teach you a lot.
Of course. Yeah. That's things that I remember that I remember most vividly.
Yeah.
Is just the hardest, the part where it's just after the show you're fucking exhausted. You want to get to the hotel and you're at the hotel and they're like, we don't have your room.
Oof.
Like, fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah, I can only imagine.
And we're just like, dude, I don't want anything more than to go to bed right now.
That's crazy.
But you can't.
It's like the not so glamorous side of touring and being a musician. Dude, that's crazy.
Absolutely.
What about some of the bands that you've gone to play with? You played with some amazing bands, dude, on tour.
Oh, I know, man.
Just to name a few, All That Remains. You said Alter Bridge.
Alter Bridge was great.
Who else did you guys get to share the stage with?
Seether in Europe, dude. Oh my God, Seether. They're the greatest. They're the fucking dude. It was insane. They play a 2-hour set.
2 hours
of fucking hits, bro. Like, you don't realize how many hits they have.
That's legit.
In rock radio. It was just like, oh my God. And dude, they are fucking killer, dude. Just
wow, dude.
Every night in Europe, man, like, as tired as you are and as exhausted as you are, dude, I found myself watching Seether more than any other band that I've toured with.
Okay, that's so cool. Do you get to interact with them before?
Of course,
stuff like that?
Of course, yeah. Sometimes
are they cool with you guys being around?
Yeah, a lot of times the headliner will reach out and just make sure that their opening bands are taken care of. And a lot of them have great hospitality features and characteristics. A lot of them are. Most of them, all of them. I've never been treated like shit on a tour ever.
Like, you've never run into like a difficult personality with like
dude, not at all.
That's cool, man. I think it also reflects a lot on your ability to be able to get along with a lot of people.
Of course, that's important. That's important too, is to be able to understand that. Again, that's a skill that needs to be developed in adulthood.
100%.
Your ability to be able to convey messages in a way that's going to be well received, and to receive messages in a way that aren't so. You need to understand. You need to understand others. Yeah. You need to further communicate, make sure that the message is being received, and that's a huge part in being a professional.
Yeah.
So,
dude, that's so cool. One of the things I wanted to ask you about is the contrast between your time with Lay in Ruins and your time with Sons of Texas.
Oh, dude.
So
Lay in Ruins was like a preschool.
Lay in Ruins. Okay, so for the people who aren't familiar with the music scene, what it was back then, dude, you guys had like created this amazing culture. I think in general, the VTHC culture, the Valley Texas hardcore culture, it was incredible, man. It was fun. It was these people just wanting to play their music.
Absolutely.
And I wasn't really into like heavy music. I mean, the first time I saw you guys play, I remember just being like, wow, this is not the music I listen to, but I am so impressed.
Right.
With everything that's going on, right?
And that's important with live bands. You have to. The goal is to captivate your audience.
Yeah,
that's
100%, dude.
That's people, all you gotta do.
I mean, people would come. People would love to see you guys. Yeah. I just remember that culture was so fun to watch. And like I said, it was very different from what I was used to. Oh shoot! Oh wow, it was very different from the iPhone's still going.
Cool,
legit. It was very difficult. We got the audio anyway, so
awesome.
We're good.
Perfect.
But it was so different from what I was used to. I didn't, dude. I used to listen to Blink and Green Day. That's what I started. And then my gateway bands. Are you good on time?
Yeah.
Okay. My gateway bands were, like I started listening to like Census Fail and like Silverstein, and those were the ones that started getting me into heavier music. But when I saw you guys, like I wasn't there yet.
Right.
And I was like, whoa. But dude, like seeing you guys and the culture, and you can't see us through the broken glass, that's something that is ingrained in my brain.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
it's funny,
I'd be like, what is
that's
going
funny.
on?
That's cool, man. And I think that's the goal for artists, is to captivate people that, as a metal band, you want to be able to draw people in who aren't into your music, and that goes into business too.
Yeah.
You
so true.
To,
wow.
Yeah. You want to be able. You want to create a product that's going to benefit everybody.
Yeah.
Not just a niche.
For sure.
Audience, not just a niche crowd. So that's what's cool. That's what you want to do, and it's a lot of people see that as being a sellout, and that's not a good mentality. I feel you want to be able to reach the most people, because it can make a difference in so many lives. Like it did with me. I was a 11-year-old kid who found a Mudvayne record, and I loved it more than anything in the world. And like, what the fuck was that record doing in the hands of an 11-year-old kid?
Dude, in second grade, like I remember my CD player, I had Limp Bizkit. I had, I remember listening to, at that time, do you remember when Metallica released when they released the soundtrack for Mission Impossible?
Oh, yes.
And I Disappear was on that.
Yeah.
And I was like,
oh, that's cool. It's heavy, dude.
And I was 8, bro.
Right.
It's crazy. But it would appeal to us.
Of course.
Which is
because it's got those pop elements, the structure, the song structures, the simplicity of a young brain receiving that and being able to just get attached to it. That's cool.
Dude.
That's a different level of artistry.
Absolutely.
To be able to create a product that's going to reach millions.
Yeah, I 100% agree. So do you miss that time? Like in Lay in Ruins, do you miss like...
Oh, dude, again, like I say...
The simplicity of playing at the...
Yeah, it was the preliminary phase of prepping, is when I was working on my musicianship.
Yeah.
I was working on my chops. It was practice. It was being able to analyze how the shows went. Like, dude, because we were playing on the floor at a VFW, there were some times where I would tell John, dude, like, I wasn't able to hear you. Like you're gonna have to put your amp at this level or this level, or Mike, we couldn't hear a kick drum. We're gonna have to figure out a way to, a lot of those, just being able to play shows and having them serve as kind of a practice, and that way we're able to teach ourselves and analyze what we need to do to get better.
Wow, dude.
So that's what Lay in Ruins was. It was just us learning to be musicians.
How old were you when you started that band?
It was 2015. I was
2015.
Yeah.
Lay in Ruins.
No, 2015. What the fuck am I saying? 2005.
Yeah, 2005.
Sorry.
Okay,
2005. I was still in high school. I was a sophomore, maybe late junior.
That's crazy, dude.
So it was 2005. Played our first show June 25th, 2005.
Where at the VFW?
Yeah, we opened for a band called Dying Embrace and Armed to Intervene.
How was that?
Oh, dude, it was scary. We played an Azalea Dying cover.
Really? Which one?
The song called Forever.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how was it? Was it? Did you like the way it came out?
It was alright.
Do you still listen to that band or no?
As Like Dying?
Yeah.
I mean, not really.
No.
Kind of a little bit. Here and there. It'll pop up on a playlist. I'll be like, cool.
Gotcha.
But
they had some pretty good stuff.
Dude, they were pioneers, dude.
Yeah.
They kind of they were one of the early bands to like, you know, have like metal riffs with breakdowns.
Dex was the one who introduced me. I had no clue who they were, but it makes a lot of sense because some of the stuff that Dex would write was so good. And I'm like, where do you get this? And it's like, let me show you.
Asleigh Dying, Trivium, Shadows Fall, all those early metal bands that were kind of brewing up this new genre.
Yeah, it's like metal, but they have like a melodic aspect to their guitar riffs that are just like, wow, dude. Mm-hmm. Wow.
It's cool.
It's 2005.
That's 2005. And it's crazy. I think I was like 16 or 15 or something else.
And you guys had a really good run, like a pretty long run.
It was 2005 to 2010 is when Sons. I'm so used to saying is when Sons is when Lay in Ruins kind of fell through. Yeah.
At the end of the day, when you look back and you think like, this is what we did with like Lay in Ruins, do you ever think like, I would have done this differently? Or I would have done something differently?
Nah.
No?
I don't think so.
That's cool.
Nah, dude. We were having a good time.
Good.
That's it.
Yeah, because I feel like in retrospect, like hindsight's 20/20, right? You're like, oh man, I could have done this better or this better. But but at the end of the day, it's like you learn through that.
Right.
You learn through those mistakes or the type of decisions that you make.
We were young, dude. There's no way Lay in Ruins could have done what Sons did. You know, as far age-wise, we were too young in Lay in Ruins. We were kids, you know? And it's scary how some Lay in Ruins do get signed and start like, dude.
Very true.
You know? And
that's even harder, right? Because
scary.
You don't have that level of maturity.
Of course. We were adults and Sons. We were ready to go out and, you know, navigate our adult asses through the world. Kids... like being 18, 19, dude, no way.
That's crazy.
I mean, as much as, it is possible, it's very difficult. Very difficult. And that can yield, like, pretty dangerous results, I think. So, I'm glad it happened the way it did. And,
good.
You know, again, like the Lay in Ruins era, it was my way of honing in on my musicianship. I just wanted to be an incredible musician in Lay in Ruins. That's it. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And that's cool, man. I can definitely say that you wowed us for sure.
Thank you.
You wowed us during that time.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I was a freshman, 15, the first time that Arnie invited me to the VFW because he knew Ruben. He had a class with Ruben, I think, and he's like, hey, dude, Ruben's invited me to come out. I'm like, cool, dude, I'm down. And I was like, what is this?
Scared everybody, right? Oh, dude.
But it was cool, man.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Sometimes I think about the VFW row and I can still smell the cigarette smoke.
Yeah, that's engraved, isn't it? Isn't it engraved? And like your like sense of smell is most linked to memory. So whenever I smell that smoke, I think of those. I
think of the
that low A string, dude. Just dude. Fuck yeah. Just the pit opening up. You're like, oh man, we're about to die.
Dude, it's cool. We got to share the stage with you guys at a lot of really cool shows.
Far from Peril, dude.
Yeah, and do you remember we talked about this when JJ was on the podcast? But do you remember when we played with Dignan at the Sina Array at one time? It was Far From Peril. It was you. It was Lay in Ruins. It was Mador and The Requested, and we all played with Dignan. Yes. And we're like, bro, all of these bands there.
That's right. That was a Dignan show.
Do you remember that?
Holy!
I remember
what the fuck were we doing on a Dignan show?
That's what I'm trying to say, dude. Like, we're all so different.
It was a cool
and we're
scene.
Playing together in the same night.
Very cool scene, dude.
I loved it, man.
How neat.
Loved it. Like
we're so spoiled to have
sometimes.
That,
yeah, for sure. Because I don't think it'll ever be like that again, man.
But maybe.
Hopefully, right? The hope is that the music scenes stay alive here in the Valley. I have to give a shout out to Patrick Garcia, man. Mm-hmm. He's still doing the shows.
Dude, with Young Tiger's Blood, for sure.
Yes. I'm going out to one tonight, which I'm really excited about. But, dude, mad props to him. I had a conversation with him the other day, and he was like, dude, like, one of the things that I want is to continue this music scene, right? Just like how Austin and San Antonio have, you know, their music scene, even though we're a smaller city, we can still have that.
Dude, and he's brought down, like, badass acts down here. And
100%.
Like, everybody who visits McAllen, they love the culture. They love the scene. They love how passionate, you know, the scene is here as far as... the way that we receive artists,
Yeah.
the way that we respond, and the way that we just genuinely love it.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool.
I think it's awesome, dude. I love it, man. Dude, thanks so much for coming to hang out. I think
Dude,
we've covered so many
I
good
know,
things,
we
and
have.
we could continue going, but I
sure.
know I told you I wanted to keep it at an hour. An hour 35.
An hour 35. Wow.
I love it, dude. But it's cool. I mean, I've had so much fun
Yeah,
just
no,
getting to
dude,
share.
for sure.
Hear
Absolutely.
you share as well. And
Thank you.
Before we wrap up, dude, I do want to learn about you yourself in terms of, you told me that what your simple pleasures are, like being at home and watching a ball game, watching sports. What are the things that you're like, have nothing to do with music, the things that you like, or you're like, dude, these are the things that I love to do. It's simple. They don't cost money, right? Like, what do you do on your downtime on the weekends?
Dude, that's a good question.
I know you said you work all the time.
I work all the
but
time.
when you're not working,
I love to watch sports.
Okay.
I love to just, find, and what's cool is that now that I have a house,
yeah,
like I could do little things around the house.
Yeah.
Like, when I get home right now, I'm gonna have to find a way to put our curtains up.
Yeah, you got a lot of those projects to do.
Yeah, dude. So it's like now I feel like I'm now entering a new phase of adulthood where I have to start maintaining a home.
Yeah.
Which
is awesome, dude. So respectable, and I love that.
Thank you. I'm so stoked on it. I'm very much looking forward to doing little things, and so is Marina. She's always just like, dude, like I want to get this for the house. I want it to have this vibe, and I want it to. And it's funny because it's just us two, right? Like, it's just the two of us. So that's
gotta be so cool, man.
It's fun. So I feel like that's kind of what I do on my downtime is I love to just relax. I love peace and quiet. I love to read. I love to watch sports.
Okay.
Dude, like
I'm
gonna watch college football all day.
Love it. Yeah, I love college football.
Yeah,
I actually prefer that over NFL, but just because I feel like college football, dude, like they're not getting paid. You do it more for the love of the sport.
They're working.
Yeah.
They want to get to the NFL.
Exactly.
They want to get to that bag.
And there's something about like I like the school pride aspect of it too. Like,
that's
it's
true.
a lot of fun.
That's true.
Where in the NFL, dude, you're getting paid like tremendous amount of money, bro.
Yeah, and you don't really have a student body. You just have like a fan base.
Yeah. Which there's nothing wrong with that. But like I said, dude, college sports for me is so much more fun. Yeah. So if we talk about sports specifically, like who do you like to watch? What sports teams? And specifically, like what are your favorites to watch?
Any dude.
So you don't have to.
I'll watch basketball. I'm a Spurs fan.
Okay.
Yeah. Football, Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
But no, dude,
dude, they had an amazing start, dude.
Dude, what's cool is that now that I'm playing fantasy football, like it really opens up the door to just watch everybody. You're not just rooting for your team, you're watching every game because you want to, it's so
you gotta get those points.
Yeah, exactly. It's so fun, dude.
That's awesome.
So fun, and I love it. I love the idea of sports. I love the idea of people doing things professionally, that they've been cultivating skills since childhood. And all these people that you watch playing sports on TV, they've been at it.
Yeah.
It's their life's work.
So true,
It's
man.
their life's work. So you get to watch the best at what they do it.
You're so right.
So,
how many people have done that their whole lives, and like only a certain amount make it to play professionally?
And I love that. I feel like I think that's why I love sports so much. It's just because these are the best to do it.
Yeah.
And they're competing. Yeah. I love that. And just being able to watch, like, the skill, the strategy of sports, all of that is so cool too. So I think I do that.
I love it, dude. Do you consider yourself a homebody? Like you like to stay home? Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I said, if I weren't a professional touring musician, I would not travel. there's no way.
You didn't have a passport either.
No way. Nuh-uh. No.
Cool, man.
So like you said about going to South Korea, you wanted to do something and get paid.
Yeah.
Same.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I wanted to get my music in front of as many people as possible.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that was to travel. So had to do it.
So cool.
Yeah, so cool.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, dude. I'm honored that you would accept the invitation to come out and hang out and chat.
Dude,
it's
thank you
been
for having
so
me,
much
man.
fun,
So
and
much
obviously
fun.
we can keep going. But
It's my first podcast too.
For real?
Yeah.
I love it.
I've never done this before.
That's awesome.
It was fun.
Well, you did press when you were doing the band. And
yes,
stuff like that,
but I mean, I was so scared. I never wanted to speak into the mic.
Gotcha.
I never wanted to. No, I was like, you guys do it. No, you do it.
Gotcha.
But I had like very, very, very little experience with it.
Gotcha. I guess the environment's different too, because like the vibe that I try to create is something more relaxed.
Right.
casual
just
or
us
just having
talking.
conversation. And I love that, dude. You lend yourself a lot to that, and I think you should have done the press more because you know.
Well, this is me though. This is 33-year-old me
True,
with all that
true.
experience. So
very true.
Yeah,
Understood.
so,
But
yeah.
dude, I love it, man. Thanks
Thank
again
you.
for
Of
hanging
course.
out. I think that's a great place to wrap it up.
For sure.
But dude, I'm excited. I'm excited for what's going on with Fork. I
Thank
think
you.
that it's crazy.
I'm
You guys have
excited
4
too.
stores
4
now, which
stores.
is crazy.
Yep.
I live right here by this
know,
one,
we should
which is
stop
so
by
cool.
more, man.
Yeah. I come every once in a while, but when I'm there, when I come, I haven't seen you. I haven't seen Alex. But granted, you guys have been so busy everywhere
Right.
else.
Yeah, I try to be everywhere.
So you do come and work at the store every once in a while?
That's where this is headquarters for now. This
yeah.
is where the office is.
But are you in the office or are
upstairs.
you at the store?
Wherever
both?
I'm needed. I'm
Okay.
mostly in the office. That's like home base now, where I have
But I can come and visit you here at this office?
Yeah, sometimes. I might
When
be
you-
there.
when you're here.
Or sometimes I'm at the. I pop
Okay.
in at other stores. I have
Gotcha.
managers now at each location that
Cool.
I kind of.
If I
lead
swing
and
by,
direct.
I'll shoot you a message. Hey, are you here?
Please, dude.
I'll go pick up the chicken enchilada. Oh,
dude, yeah, dude.
Those
There you
go hard.
There you go.
I love it, man.
Happy to help you,
Awesome.
man.
Awesome. Well, Nick, thank you so much for hanging out, dude. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for listening to the We're from the Valley podcast. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next one.
Peace.